Well, finally, Joe Biden has signed his executive order that has been long awaited actually since October about regulation in the crypto space and what's considered laughable to others and devastating to others, not to mention it's completely off the radar for many others. Well, it's finally upon us. So in this video, I'm going to review some of the Joe Biden executive order reaction, what it's actually going to include, and in fact, how Joe Biden actually responded to it. Rumor was, when he was asked to sign it, he said, "Crypto Keepers, isn't that movie that we watch on Halloween? Man, I love that movie." Also, the Ripple versus the SEC case is over. Okay, so don't click away from this video. It's not actually over, but I am going to talk about a tweet that went viral yesterday, and in fact, were picked up by mainstream media sources and other Twitter users. Be very, very careful what you believe on Twitter, because unfortunately, no, this case is not over yet. So I'm going to go over some of the reaction to the executive order, what the Bitcoin market just did, and if you look behind me, you can see pretty much what it just did. So we're going to talk about what Bitcoin, the rest of the crypto market reacted, and specifically XRP, and how XRP actually fits into this, because there's a few quotes in this executive order that have all XRP holders very interested. Hey everyone, my name is Randy, and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel, we are covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, but I'm also covering cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, make sure you subscribe to Late Night Grind, and also don't forget to click that bell notification icon so that YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. And if you're feeling generous, I'd appreciate it if you do two things: smash the thumbs up button and watch this video all the way to the end. Those are the two best things you can do to support a YouTube channel. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So first, I wanted to jump in and talk about this satirical tweet that was actually posted yesterday by a satirical XRP Twitter account. He actually posted that the Ripple versus the SEC case was actually over, and it got a lot of attention. The likes, the retweets were off the charts, specifically for this type of XRP tweet. And not only that, someone linked that tweet to another tweet, which actually had a link to a fairly reputable source that wrote an article about the case, mentioning that the case is over and that we're expecting details at any time. So be very, very careful. This is your due diligence warning, especially on Twitter. You need to be very careful who you believe and what you're actually reading. And if you do click on links and read it, you just better be sure of your sources. So no, the Ripple versus the SEC case is not over. In fact, it's just getting exciting. All right, so now let's talk about this executive order that we've been waiting for since October, that Joe Biden has promised, to talk about crypto regulation. And to some, it wasn't really surprising, because I actually made a video of this about 2 or 3 months ago when this was, again, a topic. And some people were saying, well, listen, this isn't going to be the big hammer to crypto like some people think it is. And this isn't going to be a laughingstock like other people think it is. Because what this executive order is basically calling for an agency-wide, or a government agency-wide, essentially research project. So all of the different departments are called to research all of the impacts, all of the financial impacts, all of the social impacts, even climate change impacts as to what crypto and crypto regulation could do. And so I'm also going to discuss why the market reacted like that yesterday when the executive order didn't come out till today, which today's Wednesday. Well, it was because Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, her reaction, or her essentially statement on this executive order, was actually posted to the White House website a day early. It was posted and then it was deleted, and somebody pulled it up from archive.org and of course posted it on Twitter. Then it made the rounds. That is why I believe that massive green candle happened last night. I believe that many people took what her thoughts were, took what her reaction was, and took that to mean that this isn't going to be that big heavy-handed approach that some people were legitimately afraid of, especially the bigger blockchain players, the bigger blockchain companies in this space. So Kristen Smith, who is the executive director of the Blockchain Association, actually responded and said this was better than she thought it would be. Spam calls. And then it was much more positive and thoughtful. And she's not the only one that thought that. Sam Bankman-Fried, who is of course the billionaire owner of the FTX exchange, called it productive. It's one way of staying out of it. Now, Jeremy Allaire, who is actually the CEO of Circle, he's actually been calling for this type of regulation for a long time. He said what the government actually needs to do is constructive problem solving around known issues in the legacy financial system, aka the fiat world. So things like money laundering, fraudulent transactions, illicit activities, things like that. And you get the picture. things like this help legitimize the cryptocurrency world to the rest of the population, those that actually don't trust crypto. So now there's others that are calling this the beginning of regulatory clarity. And if regulatory clarity rings a bell, it's probably because you watch this channel and you cover the Ripple versus the SEC case, and regulatory clarity is exactly what Ripple is asking for XRP. Now, what does XRP have to do with this order? Well, there's some interesting things that I actually pulled out of this, specifically regarding a couple of buzzwords, and they are cross-border payment systems and climate change research. Okay, so what does that have to do with XRP? Well, it's one of the use cases, one of the sales points, if you will, that a lot of XRP holders, a lot of XRP users like to tell people about its energy optimization, its usage. It's extremely low compared to, say, something like Bitcoin. So the climate change people typically like to see stuff like this. We're going to see if government regulation actually pulls the trigger on something that would punish, say, something like Bitcoin and actually favor some others, such as Ripple. Well, the SEC doesn't see it that way, that's for sure. But the other point that I noticed is they talked a lot about stablecoins. And this is one of those things that specifically the head of the SEC, Gary Gensler, has been talking about since he got in his position, and several others in government agencies talking about regulation for crypto have been talking about. Stablecoins is very polarizing to the non-crypto user. In fact, it's very polarizing within the crypto community. Along with stablecoins comes the exact same concerns from a government standpoint on something like CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. It's kind of the four-letter word it actually is 4 letters, in the crypto world. Why? Because it's programmable money, or it could be used as programmable money, and that simply scares people because you could lose your anonymity. You could lose control over it, even though you technically own it. But there is one senator who is actually writing up a bill who is trying to make it so that if central bank digital currencies come into fruition, which I believe at some point they will, that it will actually retain some of the privacy properties of cash, some of the anonymity properties, and some of the same benefits that cash actually has a use case for. So he is actually bringing this and hoping to get this written into law, that something like stablecoins would be opt-in and it wouldn't be forced upon a population, because that is a very scary thought. But as one Twitter user pointed out when he was talking specifically about stablecoins, he said, why would you hold stablecoins? That is a peg to the US dollar, at least most of them are supposed to be. So that's like holding dollars, and what that's essentially doing is losing its buying power as the days go by. In fact, literally as the minutes go by right now. So according to this user, he was willing to give up the use of certain stablecoins. But let me know in the comment section below what you guys think would be a possible or probable regulation concerning stablecoins. So like I said, this executive order is basically one big research report where they're calling for all these agencies to do all these research and all this due diligence on the reactions, the potential pitfalls, the potential benefits, and hopefully some responsible regulation in order to keep innovation in the United States. So now we have government agencies looking into all of the different productive aspects and possible negative aspects of cryptocurrencies and crypto regulation, including climate change. Now, with this administration currently that's in office, it's not surprising that they would throw that in there. In fact, it might not matter who's in office. They're probably going to throw that in there in order to research. Because as we all know in the crypto space, Bitcoin miners are actually going to melt the polar ice caps. But plugging in millions of Teslas won't. So just so you know. So with all that being said, we have not heard from one of the biggest thinkers in all of the crypto space. And that being one of the biggest government regulation fraudsters, fans in all of crypto. That'd be Ethereum's Joe Lubin. No word from him yet. Now, I did see some analysis on this. Actually, I saw a lot of analysis on it. And they did say that some of these research projects will essentially take up to 6 months for the government to complete. Now, in government time, that's about the equivalent of 4.5 years. In the meantime, Bitcoin is going to be doing its thing. A lot of people thought this was not the big hammer coming down, and so price rose based on some of the comments of those in the industry and even on those in government. So if you want to know why there was a big pump like that, well, some of it had to do with that, and some of it probably had to do with the fact that there was a short squeeze at the time, which helped jump up the price so quickly. And if you want to know why gold took an $80 pullback right around the same time, some people think that because this was a little more crypto-friendly than they thought, maybe they'll pull some of their gold money out and put it back into crypto, because what were they being so scared of after all? Alright guys, if you want to follow along with this story or any other cryptocurrency news, make sure you subscribe to the Late Night Grind community. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that bell notification icon, because any day in the next 3 to 6 months, I might come out with a video that says Ripple versus the SEC is over. and you're not going to want to miss that video. So make sure you subscribe to the Late Night Grind. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and check out the community tab. I post polls up there. You can participate. Love to know your thoughts. Also, leave your comment in the description down below. Love to get your thoughts on this government regulation in the United States. If you think it will have a big effect or barely any effect in the crypto space. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, for giving it a big thumbs up. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.